Hello, outperformers. Hope you're having a great day. Father's Day weekend this weekend, and depending on when you're watching this video, let me either be the first or the last one to wish all the dads out there a very happy Father's Day. Hope you have a great one. And when I thought about what I was going to record for this video, I think back to some of the lessons that my father taught me growing up, and there's always one that jumps out. Maybe you've seen it on my website. But I just remember playing high school basketball, and even back before that. And I just remember sitting down specifically at our dining room table afterwards. And I remember him after the games telling me, don't be afraid to shoot the ball. Like, don't be afraid to take the last shot. Somebody has to do it, and it may as well be you. And I was so hesitant and so reluctant to do it. And ironically enough, I would do it in individual sports like golf and things like that all the time. But in a team sport where I had other people depending on me, I just lacked the confidence to really want to be the one to kind of take that last shot and have that pressure on me, especially at the most important times in the game or when it really mattered. And it taught me so much about life when I look back on it. And I just think about how this kind of manifests itself in our everyday lives, because we need to have that confidence. We need to be able to raise our game in those important times. And I just think about this week, I was doing some leadership coaching with a medical company in a western suburb here of Minneapolis. And like a lot of the companies that I work with, this company's had a lot of change. And there was a person that was just promoted to their VP of quality control. And I was sitting there and I was talking to him, and we were talking about things, and I was just saying, are you the right man for the job? Like, are you ready to go on this? Like, this is your shot. Are you ready? And he would kind of say, yeah, but... And each time he would say, yes, I'm ready. But he would drop his head, he would drop his eyes, he would kind of hunch forward in his chair a little bit. And we call this simultaneous incongruence, where basically I'm telling you something or I'm asking you something and you're telling me yes, but in reality you're saying yes while you're shaking your head, or your behaviors and what you're doing are not actually congruent with the words coming out of your mouth. And I kind of looked at this guy and I'm like, you know what? He's not ready to take the shot yet. Like, he's just, he's been kind of thrust into this position. He just needs a little shot of confidence, kind of like I did way back in the day. And we all need that from time to time. So there are three very simple, specific things that you can do that, because we all get put in these situations that might be uncomfortable for us, where, we have to take our shot and we might be hesitant or we might be reluctant to want to do it. And what are some things that you can do that are really going to allow you to put your best foot forward to be able to do that? So the three very simple things. One, preparation. Preparation breeds familiarity, familiarity breeds confidence, confidence breeds success. That's kind of the flow chart and the progression of how things work. And coming back to that preparation, when you think about it, the same way that if I'm talking to an athlete and I say, you think you're not ready for this Game 7 of the NBA Finals coming up, how many thousands of hours have you trained and have you practiced and prepared at 6 a.m. in the dark when no one was watching to get you ready for this moment? And like, speaking back to this guy in this VP position, well, you think about it, we're very rarely in life thrust into things that are totally foreign to us. And I think if you were to look back on kind of your preparation, or how many hours you've quote unquote trained, let's say, you probably have a whole reservoir of preparation and of training that you've done your entire life to get you exactly where you are today. And to come back to that and to be able to use that as a source of confidence, to be able to think back to that preparation and say, I've trained my whole life for this. Like, I'm ready to go. And sometimes we just forget about it. So that's the first part of it. The second part, I talk about reference points. Reference points is basically, we've all overcome great things in our life. Things where you are toe-to-toe with adversity or some type of challenge, and you're like, man, I have no idea how I'm going to get this done, this project or this proposal or this speech or this report or whatever it might be, or even be able to be successful in this job role that I've been thrust into. You're like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to get this done. Well, a reference point is something where you've had that circumstance happen in your life, like we all have, and you've done it before, so you can do it again. And it doesn't doesn't have to be situation specific. It can be anything that actually, when you were kind of toe to toe with adversity, where you're like, I don't know if I can handle this, but you've ended up overcoming it. You've ended up putting your best foot forward and getting through it. And that's something that you can draw upon to have confidence for every single thing going forward, drawing from that reference point. Again, done it before, can do it again. And the last one, sports psychology, we talk about vicarious experiences, which is basically if somebody else can do it, I can do it too. And I think back to, it was a couple weeks ago, it was the 1 year anniversary of me running 100 miles. And I just remember being so scared going into that race and thinking, like, this is just daunting. Like, 100 miles, like, that's a pretty long ways to run. And I remember looking around at other runners at the registration and packet pickup and before the race was going to start. And finally, I just kind of said, you know what, there's no way that every person that's run 100 miles before is fitter than me and is more mentally tough than I am. And you can use that for anything in life. And that was my recommendation, again, to this VP. I said, you know what, have there been other people that are probably no more prepared, are no more intelligent, are no more resourceful than you, that have been able to be successful in exactly the area that you need to be successful in? And he said, well, yeah, certainly. The same way that it kind of goes back to my 100-mile thing too. You're not putting other people down, you're pulling yourself up, but it's saying, you know what, if somebody else can do it, I can do it too. And I used to kind of look at very successful or high achieving people and think, you know what, they were just born with the high achievement gene, or they were just born with a success gene, and damn you, dad, like you just didn't give me that gene, like I just wasn't blessed with that. And it's just not the truth. What you come to realize is that most people that accomplish things or really achieve high levels of success are probably no different than you. So simplistic as that sounds, common sense not always being common practice, just think about those three things. And whenever you need to raise your game, when you need to step up, and when you need to be the guy that's going to quote unquote take the shot, you know, or put everybody else on your back when the team really needs it. And also think about this when you communicate, if you're in a managerial position and you're communicating with others, think about how you can help them in these three areas as well. If you can just tell that it's kind of the thing where, you know what, they're saying yes or they're saying no, but their kind of behaviors are not actually matching the words that are coming out of their mouth, just think about how can you remind them of their preparation that they've done to this point? How can you remind them that they've done it before, something before that they've overcome so they can do it again? And how can you remind them that, you know what, if somebody else can do it, you can do it too. You focus on those three things, it's going to greatly enhance your confidence and obviously enhance your results. So again, wishing all the dads out there a great Father's Day and wishing you the best of health, happiness, high performance. Have a great day.